guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jess. Today I wanted to film a haul. Now when this video goes up, it will be later on in the month, but I am filming this the first week of August. These are all the books that I got in the last week. Because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I did actually unhaul even more books than the ones that you guys saw in my unhaul video. I did go through my shelves again because, as you guys know, I am moving. Hopefully by the time you see this, I will have moved. It's like a never-ending process for me. Honestly, I feel like it's never going to be over. But I did sell a bunch of books to a store here called Half Price Books, and then I did take that money and invest in a couple of other books that I've been wanting, and then I do also enjoy supporting the bookstore near my house, so I did buy quite a few books from there as well. But this isn't going to be like the biggest haul. I think I have like 8 or 9 books here, but let's go ahead and just get started because I don't know how long it's going to take. Please ignore the sticker residue on the front of this. I could not for the life of me get it off, and I'm super upset about it. But it is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I don't think I've ever heard it said. But Neil is one of my favorite people on the planet. Like, if you've seen Cosmos on Netflix, I used to fall asleep to that show all the time. I love how soothing his voice is. I just love science in general. It has always been, honestly, my favorite subject. I think that we can learn a lot from science, obviously. But I am very excited for this because I have tried to read a couple of Neil's other books and I still have them, but they're definitely books that I can only read a chapter at a time once a month. Like, there is so much information in them, so I'm very excited for this. Book Rose actually talked about this in like a review. I think it was like a monthly wrap-up that she did, and it sounded so cool. Now, I don't do audiobooks. I don't really enjoy them, honestly, unless I'm like in the car on like a long car ride. So I did go ahead and actually pick up the physical version of the book, and I'm very excited to read it. It is quite small. It's like a teeny tiny book. It's about the size of my hand. Definitely one of those books you can just like throw in your car with you. And it's definitely a book that I'm really looking forward to reading once I get settled in my new house. The second book I have here I've actually seen quite a few pictures of, and I thought the cover was beautiful, and I'm really excited to read it. It is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour, I think is how you say her name. First off, this book is beautiful. Like, this book is such a gorgeous book, like even the inside of it. Honestly, you guys all know I do buy a lot of books based on their covers. Unfortunately, I am guilty of that, but this book also sounds very, very cool. The only part of it that I read is a little bit of the inside cover, and it says, "You go through life thinking there's so much you need until you leave with only your phone, your wallet, and a picture of your mother." That is all that I know about this book. That is all that I have actively tried to learn about this book. Obviously, I've seen a couple of things online. It's about a girl who kind of goes away and out on her own, from what I understand, and then she's forced to come back and kind of confront the people in her life. And I don't know if it's like she chooses to come back or kind of what the story is there, but it sounds very interesting because I do have kind of like a life situation where I've had to do that as well. So this sounds like a very, very interesting book, and I'm very excited to read it. Now, this book I have been looking for a very long time. I have found it on Amazon for $30, and there is no way in hell that I'm going to pay $30 for a hardcover edition of a book. It is Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. This sounds like such a good book. Okay, first off, it takes place in like the Russian wilderness in winter, and the main character's mother, I believe she dies, and her dad brings home a new woman to be her stepmom. Now, her stepmom believes that the town and the girl and her father are all ridiculous for believing in this god, and I believe he's sort of also a demon, and you're supposed to give offerings and things like that to protect the village from the god, or from this person, this being, and the mother makes them stop doing it. Now, once she makes them stop doing things like that, a lot of funky stuff starts happening around her village, and that sounds so cool to me. I have been waiting to read this book for forever, so hopefully I'm going to go ahead and get to it next month. It just sounds like a very, very cool book to read. And the second one it says here is called The Girl in the Tower. Now, there's a little bit of it in this book at the very end, but I probably won't read it. I'll just wait for the second one to come out. But this just really sounds like something that I'm gonna love, honestly. Now, the next book I picked up was actually a recommendation from my husband. He said that this author was one of the authors that he was required to read when he was in high school, I believe. And normally, you know me, I'm like totally against required reading, but he said the author is a really, really great writer. So I did go ahead and pick up The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro, I think is how you say it. He also did The Remains of the Day and Never Let Me Go. I don't know which one of those books my husband said he had to read in high school, but it sounds like such a good book. My favorite genre of writing is historical fiction, or even history in general. I love history, and I love reading about like alternate histories for things, or like fictional histories of things. So this book follows Axel and Beatrice in Britain post a war, and they are trying to travel across Britain, and that is simply what the book is about. And I think that that appeals to me because I do like a lot of historical fiction books where it just follows people and sort of how they are coping with war, or, you know, they're coping with post-war kind of things. So this book really appealed to me, and I'm very excited to read it. Also, the covers are absolutely beautiful, and, you know, cover by. always. Now this next book that I have here I did also film a review for, and I don't know if that'll be up before this video, but it's The Princess Saves Herself, and this one by Amanda Lovelace. This is a poetry book. It is such a good poetry book though. It kind of blends like novel, like storytelling, as well as poetry in general. Poetry tends to be, here's a poem, this is how you feel from that one poem. This book is poem after poem after poem, kind of telling the story of Amanda's life, and it is wonderful. It has like her eating disorder in it, a relationship with her mom, with her exes, with her sister passing away. This was just a very good book. I have already read it, obviously. I read it the day that I got it, but I was hunting down this book and I randomly saw it in the bookstore by my house and I just immediately bought it. But this book was absolutely wonderful, and if you haven't read it, I would definitely recommend it. Now the next book I have here is also a book that I have been searching for forever. It is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur, I think is how you say her name. Correct me if I'm wrong, please like leave how you say her name in the bottom in the notes. But I have been waiting to get this book for forever. It is the most photographic book, like photogenic book I have ever seen. It has drawings all throughout the pages, and once again it is a poetry book. I said this in the review of The Princess Saves Herself. In this one I do write poetry. I'm like a published poetry author, but I honestly don't read a whole lot of poetry. I know that's a little strange, but I have been wanting to read this for so long, so long, and I'm so glad that I have it now. I'll probably read it next month. This might be one of the books that I read just periodically, kind of get, you know, a little bit of an experience out of it at a time, but I'm so glad that I finally got this book. Alright, y'all come on book roast for this. It is Rat Queens. It is Volume 1 Sass and Sorcery. You guys, I read this book the day that I got it, and I was cackling at work. It was so unattractive, but this is so funny. Like, it was hilarious. If you like sassy female characters, if you like a little bit of blood, some sexual content, magic, like, oh my gosh, this is just beautiful. I believe that this book is written on a D&D campaign that the two gentlemen who wrote this were actually playing, and they just decided to turn it into a comic, and I'm so glad they did because it is absolutely hilarious. Now the next book I got I don't know anything about, except for I've been told by multiple people that I need to read it. It is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Backman. I am very excited to read this just because so many people have talked about this book. So many people have said that this is a book worth reading, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it. This is just a straight up fiction novel, and I don't know much about it, but I am still very interested because I do enjoy fiction, and I don't read a whole lot of it anymore. I used to be like the genre that I was into was historical fiction or just fiction, so I'm really excited to read this because I kind of want to get away from fantasy a little bit. As you know, I've been reading a lot more sci-fi, but I wanted to go ahead and get into like just straight up fiction, so I'm very excited to read this as well. Now, the last book that I have here, I'm slightly disappointed in, only because I had to buy it in hardcover and I only have the paperback of the first one, and it is Gemini by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I was trying so hard to find the paperback version of this book or to find the hard copy edition of Illuminae in the stores that I was at this weekend. I've been taking a break from buying books on Amazon and trying to support actual bookstores recently, but I could not find the hardcover or the paperback version of this one. So this is the book that I ended up getting. This is the book of my entire haul that I'm the most excited to read. And you guys saw my most recent videos when I was talking about Illuminae. I absolutely loved Illuminae. Definitely hands down my most favorite book from this year that I've read so far, and I'm hoping Gemini lives up to the hype. I've heard some negative things about it. The female main character in this is annoying, and I already really hate annoying female main characters, so we'll see. But I think what really appeals to me of these books is the way that the authors write. I think that it is wonderful. I am a huge fan of Jay now. I didn't used to be. I actually have another series by him that I didn't much like, but I did like Illuminae, and I hope that I like this one, so I'm very excited to read this. Also, can we please take a moment to see how beautiful and awesome these covers are? Are they the most photographic books that I own? Yes. Have I taken one picture of them since I got it? No. Sorry if you can hear people outside. My neighbor's working on his house and someone's playing their music as they drive by. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it. I will probably not buy many books next month just because, like I said, we're moving and moving is expensive, so I probably shouldn't have bought these either, but sometimes you just can't help yourself. But I do justify it with the fact that I unhauled almost 30 books, so I'm forgiven, right? But I hope you guys are having a good week, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!
If I was a question, would you be my answer? If I was the music, would you be the dancer? If I was the student, would you be the teacher? If I was the sinner, would you be the preacher? Would you be my... What's the done, the done, done?